Imagine today we do an elections for the IMIA presidency. It is a direct contest between me and my party against the other president, let's say Manny and his party. Somehow, through an elections, I managed to garner 33% of the vote and I became your president. Do you think it is fair? But it can be legitimate if you can change the election system. Today, I'm not here to talk about politics, but I'm here to talk about how maps can be used for social action, and specifically for case for electoral reform. And throughout this entire presentation, there will be moments of time I would ask you to imagine a lot. First, if you look at the presentation here, I will be covering some key terms. The first section will be political terms, that is understanding electoral delimitation, followed by a context back in Malaysia that is challenges in preparing for an objection for electoral boundary changes, and how did GIS, that's the core of my topic, how did GIS and maps can make a difference. We'll examine a case study, and finally we have a conclusion. So now I need you all of you to imagine back to that example of we going to conduct an election, who is going to be the next president of IMIA. So what does delimitation means? Delimitation is essentially, for electoral context, is drawing your electoral boundaries. So today we have approximately, let's say, 30 voters. And I see all of you have been placed in different tables. Each table can be drawn as to be one constituency. And let's say if three of you, one of you will be representing the three voters. Then the second thing, what is a parliamentary style government? Outright majority, most of us are from a Commonwealth system, except 2 or 3 are from America. You follow the Republican system. The parliamentary style government is where the executive, let's say your Prime Minister, derives his or her legitimacy from the legislature. That means your Prime Minister is effectively an MP or lawmaker comparable to his peers. It is different to being the President of the United States, where you elect him directly and he's not an equivalent of your Congress. So Malaysia practices parliamentary style government similar to Australia and New Zealand. And when we do elections, there are so many types of electoral systems. And one of the easiest systems we could think of is first past the post. Winner takes all. So if we take the context of 30 of us here, all I need, let's say my party, is to win the most number of seats. So let's say we have around 9 seats. I just need to win 5 out of 9. Winner takes all. But it doesn't necessarily mean I won the majority of individual votes. I just won the majority of seats. It depends how you interpret the system. While winner takes all is a very simple system, it is one of the easiest systems to be manipulated. The first thing, gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is effectively drawing the electoral boundaries to favor certain political parties. For example, if ideally every seat was divided, here is one table, is one seat. But I seem to understand many supporters tend to flock one corner here and flock other corner here. But my voters are spread around. So I want to find a way to deny Manny's party from winning is breaking his votes into smaller areas or diluting it and pack all my supporters across. So that's gerrymandering. That's basically using politics, understanding the voting patterns and shifting to your favor. Malapportionment is basically happens when your vote value or where you stay varies significantly to someone on the other side. If you look at here, each table is equally having 3 to 4 voters. However, I can change the system where I make it very hard for Manny to win by making Manny to get so many voters to get one seat, but for me, I just need to have few voters. For example, if I know this seat is largely in favor of me, I keep the size of this. But if this whole section here is full of Manny's voters, instead of dividing 2 tables, I would just make this one whole seat of Manny's voters into one area. So Manny only wins 1 seat with 8 voters, but I win a seat with 3 voters. That is a serious issue. Well, because of that, as you can see stated here, it only takes 22% of Malaysian population of the right locations to determine the next government. So forget about your other 78%. They are wasted voters. And in our group, we use the electoral quotient. That's the number of voters divided by number of constituency, which we use it to minimize the malapportionment. Where we come from, we try to tackle this electoral unfairness through statistical means, that is through malapportionment. By fixing up malapportionment, our research has found that effectively it kicks out gerrymandering. Well, Malaysia is ranked the bottom when it comes to border changes in terms of perception. The number 2 would be the United States of America.